Hey everyone, this is my second video of the series Benefits of Localizing DeepSeek AI. Today we are going to explore how to build a PDF chatbot POC with utilizing Private Deepseek R1. So, what is the main idea of the POC here? Imagine this. You have a bunch of confidential file, maybe organizational proprietary document, some research paper, or financial document, or any vendor contract information, and you want to ask questions about them, instead of scrolling through the pages, you can just chat with that AI that understands your documents and gives you pieces informations that you need. At the same time, you don't want to share your confidential documents to anyone else. Sounds cool, right? Let's deep dive into action. Let's talk about some tools that I have used here in my POC. Ollama is a tool that lets us run LLM locally. I described briefly in my part 1 video. I used here to generate embeddings of PDF text and for the chatbot to generate responses on questions using DeepSeek R1 model. The second one is Pinecone. The Pinecone is a vector database. Think of Pinecone as the chatbot memory. It stores all the embedding generated from your PDF. When you ask a question, Pinecone performs a first similarity search. It can be cosine, it can be any kind of similarities to find the most relevant information from your document. I linked my another video to get a little bit details into the Pinecone. Next is the LangChain. The LangChain is a framework that ties everything together. So I used here for document loading, so we can easily extract text from PDF. LangChain is like the glue that connects Ollama and the Pinecone together, making sure everything works seamlessly. At the last, Node.js is the backend server. It mainly handles all the API calls. Let's first go to the application interface and then I will deep dive into the architecture and its code. This is the application that I shared in my first video. So I didn't do much. The few modifications that I made from the UI perspective, that's I have added a think, a collapsible. So you can click on that and it will tell you all the different thinking process. And then after that, you will get the exact response from the model. And there are two pieces, two endpoint that we have added. So the first one that you see, that is the private R1. That's my from previous video. Now for this one, I have added one more that is called trained version PDF. Now what I did here, so I asked that question, how to be a data engineer. Now this is I asked to the private R1. So that means it has all the data that been used to generate these models and train this model. So if you click here, you can see it's thinking, and it's thinking about all the data it has, right? And based on that, like it's also thinking SQL, Python, probably something that is needed. What is the C++, CI/CD pipeline? All these things is needed to be in. Now, based on that, it gives you the output. This is the simple part. The next one, I asked very specific questions about the H1B visa interview, how to schedule H1B visa interview. Now I'll go into the details. So this chatbot I only trained with one PDF document that has all the H1B related data that I got from USCI. There is no other information for this bot, and it's completely locally. So you can train any document. Now, as you see that when I ask this question, it's thinking about I'm trying to find out how to schedule an interview for my H1B visa. Now, what it is thinking, wait, the US Department of Labor does direct applications on its website. Now, these all the informations are coming from, or thinking is coming from the PDF that I uploaded, right? Now, I don't know if you know about the H1B, it's a little bit different process than what they are thinking, what the AI bot is thinking here. Now, if you go at the end, so after all the thought process or chain of thought, this is the answer it gave. So if you see that you need to gather requirement documents, complete all the document as soon as possible, address and proof of citizenship, employment history, some academic, some statement of purpose, then it's saying that apply online. Visit the US Department of Labor Application Center, right? Now to your DeepSeek model, I ask the same question here. How to schedule H1B visa interview, right? Now what they are thinking, it's a little bit broad. So if you see, it's thinking about the H1B visa interview. Now it's going to the other information that this model has. It's called I-129. So it's also going to DS 160. Now, based on that, it's thinking all these different procedures, and at the end, these are the some response that you got. Now, this is all the public information that is available, right? Now, if I go here, so this private chatbot, this PDF chatbot is not going anywhere else to look into the data. It's only looking whatever data that you give. So for me, I only gave one PDF document and it's thinking about that PDF only. Now, if you have bunch of confidential document, it only go to that document and give you the answer back with a proper manner. Okay, so that's the UI part. Now we'll go back to our code and the architecture design to go into the details. Let's go back. So now we have covered the UI part of it and the technology part of it. Let's talk about the first step in building our PDF chatbot, creating the index. This is where we prepare our PDF documents so the chatbot can understand and retrieve information from there. We are using PDF loader from LangChain. We extract the text from each PDF. Next, we use Ollama to generate embeddings for the extracted text. Finally, we store these embeddings in Pinecone. That's our vector database. Now, if we go back to the code demo, let's go back. Let's go to create index. Okay, here what I'm doing, I have created one Pinecone account. So this is the key. So I'll delete that key after this video is recorded. But this is more of the confidential information we should not share to anybody. Now, if you go to the Pinecone, right, I shared a link where I explore Pinecone a little bit in details. Now, if you see, this is the Pinecone index that I'm using. So when you create an index, there will be a configuration, right? Where the configuration, you can select what kind of similarities that you wanted to utilize. So for example, I am using only one PDF. So there are 24 different parts that have been added to that, the index. So if I go back here, you can see all the different index that have been added, right? So if you click here, so we'll see, yeah, I pasted that in the Microsoft and then I created that PDF document from the Microsoft. Those kind of a metadata is also available. So these all are the metadata information there. There is a chunk. This is the chunk that had been added using LangChain to extract this data and putting it to the Pinecone database. So there are 24 different chunks that have been created, right? Let's go back to the code and see how we are creating that. Now here, as you see, there are different LangChain information that I'm using. So this one is the PDF loader. I'm utilizing these from the LangChain. I'm using Pinecone store that is also part of LangChain, as well, and also the Ollama embedding. So these three different, it's as I said, right? So LangChain is kind of a glue, so it's connecting all this together. Now what I'm doing here, so if you see, so this is my PDF directory and PDF file. So I have these PDF files where I have added this PDF. So if you have more than one, it will take all of this. It can be your network drive as well. That is also fine. Now I'm creating this PDF directory, and from the PDF directory, I'm trying to loop it through to find out how many files are there. So when I'm finding a file, and then I'm trying to load this file utilizing the PDF loader, right? And then I'm utilizing to chunk it with the docs, with the loader.load. And then I'm pushing it to the document. So each document, so this document is a kind of array, you can say, and it will have multiple different chunks. Now, what I'm doing next? Next, I'm creating the embedding. So that is, I'm using the Ollama embedding with the DeepSeek 1.5 billion. So this embedding, we are utilizing LangChain Pinecone store to utilize this embedding to put our all those 24 different chunks to the Pinecone with the embedding, right? So once that piece is done, so you will have all the indexes that is created. So what you need to do is just need to run this file. So I already ran it, so I'm not running it now. So I'm just showing it. So then create index.js. So if you run it, it will get created. All the indexes will get created to the Pinecone database. Now let's go back to the presentation. Now what's next, right? Now that we have created the index, let's talk about the heart of our chatbot, the chatbot service. How does that work? When a request is received, it processes the query, retrieves information, generates a response, and send it back to the customer. First, the service connects to Pinecone to access the stored embeddings. Then, it also initializes Ollama to generate response using DeepSeek R1 model. Then, using LangChain, the service combines the retrieval process with the response generation process. This is done through retrieval augmented generation, which we call RAG. This approach ensures that chatbot's answers are accurate, also contextually relevant to the question, to the code to see in details. So this is our main chatbot. You can say, so as you see, there are two different chatbot endpoints. One is dash chat, the other one that we are using for the dash chat main. The chat main is the one that we are using for the private R1 model, and dash chat or the slash chat is the one that we are utilizing for the PDF, right? So now what are the different steps? I put all the steps together. So step one, what it is doing is the loading the Ollama model. So that is the 1.5 that we are using. The next is it's creating the prompt template. Then third step is it's combining the document chain. So what it is doing is just creating this model is just passing the model to create the chain. Nothing has been queried or response, nothing has been done at this point. The next part is the vector store, the one that we're using for the Pinecone database. So it's creating that retrieval chain. At the end here, as you see, this is more of the retrieval chain query that it is doing. Now, this is the actual input. Say, for example, I'm asking some questions about the H1B visa, how we can apply, right? So this is the question is coming to this model, and it's utilizing the RAG to retrieve all the data related to these questions, and it is sending back to the customer, so customer can read it through the UI portal. So that is the main part of it. Now, going back to the code, I have added the demo, some of these screenshot, and I have added the code link and the video link as well. So once I'll upload, I'll just add this one and replace the PDF document. That's it. Thank you so much for joining. Bye bye.